Been asked by a few folks in the eLearning Heroes forum to offer some tips on how to provide an effective voiceover for an e-learning presentation. Now understand, this is very basic stuff. It's more of an overview, certainly not intended to be seen as the final word or any such thing on this topic, but for what it's worth, this is what works for me. Now, to effectively narrate an e-learning presentation, the first thing you have to do is get to know your material. Now, as a matter of course, it is not your job as a narrator to know every single thing there is to know about the subject matter you're narrating, or in this case, teaching, but it is your job to sound like you do. Very, very important thing. A pre-read is always a good idea. It'll save you time, because you'll be able to identify words you may be unfamiliar with and consequently not know how to pronounce. There's a great pronunciation resource in the Merriam-Webster website. It's very easy to get to, m-w.com. They've got some oral pronunciations, things you can listen to hear how a word is supposed to be pronounced. It's fantastic. I love it. And really, who can decipher all those little doodads in the written versions anyway, honestly? Now, there are also going to be instances where you're going to run into industry-specific terms and phrases that you'll need to have clarified for you. For example, is the DTSY report known as the DTSY or as the DITSY? A thing like that can have a huge impact on the credibility of a presentation, because if you don't speak the language your learner is accustomed to hearing, you're likely not going to be taken as seriously as a narrator. Because remember, if you don't sound familiar with the material, you cannot possibly be taken as a credible instructor for it. It's just that simple. The next thing you're going to need to do is identify the audience the course is geared to. Who will the learner be? Who will be learning from the course? Are you talking to a seasoned engineer who's seeking recertification in a specific discipline of their work? Are you teaching a new hire the correct procedure for filling out paperwork for HR? Makes a difference. Now, once you're familiar with the terms, phrases, and overall feel of a course and have identified your audience, it's time to define the style you'll use. Will the course require a laid-back and conversational delivery like the one I'm using here, or will you need to be more instructional or formal? I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to candy coat it. There are probably half a dozen different definitions of the word conversational in terms of voiceover. There just are. Now, in my experience, the single biggest determining factor for how to say the words comes down to the way a script is written. Really. I'm not kidding. I mean, make no mistake, I'm not making this stuff up as I go. I've got a teleprompter running back there to keep me on topic, and most of what I'm saying right now was written by me for me. And trust me, it's a lot easier to sound conversational when you write it yourself. It just is. But that's neither here nor there. When it comes to e-learning or in-house training or whatever you're narrating for, no matter how hard you try, it's a real challenge to make something like, "Welcome to this course on how to change a light bulb for the Medesi Corporation's Mark 221C Delflay automatic stump grinder and coffee maker," conversationally. I don't know about you, but I have never found myself trying to slip something like that into a real conversation in my life. Which is why I typically opt for a more formal delivery when it comes to e-learning. Because conversational is one thing, but a more formal, cultured, professional delivery is what people are more in tune to hearing. But even employing a more formal delivery doesn't mean you have to sound stodgy or stilted or stiff or other words that start with ST. Anyway, one important thing, and it may sound silly, but it's true. While narrating, if you want to sound more approachable, which I think tends to increase learner engagement, all you have to do is smile. Seriously, it makes a difference. So there you go. Maybe a few more things to think about, a few new things to think about that roll around in your head as you embark on your do-it-yourself voiceovers for e-learning. Thanks for watching.